So today we're going to make a quinoa pilaf, okay? Pilaf meaning a cooked grain that has stuff added to it. So with that being said, you can add pretty much anything you want to your cooked grain and call it a pilaf. All right, traditionally made with rice or a long grain white rice, but we're gonna use quinoa today to bump up that nutrient factor. And so we have some quinoa here, which is actually a seed, but it's considered a whole grain. This is really a nice grain for you to incorporate into your diet. It's very neutral tasting, and it yields well to a lot of things, whether it be savory foods or cookies or things like that. This is a really nice grain to kind of introduce yourself to. Okay, so I'm gonna start off by finely dicing a red onion here. So we're gonna cut off the bottom there, and we're gonna cut off the top. And then we're just gonna cut this guy in half, okay? And we only need about half of this onion, so we'll save this for another recipe later. And we're just gonna peel off that first layer there that's really soft and kind of chewy. We don't want that. We're gonna lay our onion nice and flat. So with your onions, when you're cutting these guys, your onion has nice little grooves on it that it's telling you how it wants to be cut. So what we're going to do is take our nice sharp knife, and we're gonna take our knife and follow those lines, okay? Okay, and then we're gonna turn our onion, and then we're gonna run our knife perpendicular to those slices we just made, and we'll end up with dices. All right, so into a pot, I'm gonna add in some olive oil. Just a little bit. And we're gonna add our onions. And we're gonna take this to the stove. So our onions are nice and translucent. They've picked up a little bit of color from our pan here, which is great because that'll add nice flavor to our pilaf. So what we're going to do now is add in a cup of quinoa. And we're gonna stir this around and get that coated in the fat. And we're gonna allow this to toast up for a little bit, okay? I highly recommend you toast your grains in your pan. Always ensuring that you're taking those steps to add depth of flavor, those different layers of flavor to your dishes. It's what's gonna set your food apart from someone else's who didn't do it. So toast your grains, okay? Now that those are nice and toasted, we're gonna add in 2 cups of chicken stock. So we have 1 cup of quinoa and 2 cups of chicken stock, okay? We're gonna add that to our pot, and we're just gonna stir that around. If you don't have chicken stock, just use water. Okay. We're gonna stir that around. We're gonna bring this back up to a boil. Okay. So as you can see now, our quinoa has started to boil. So what we're going to do now is pop a lid on it, and we're gonna turn our heat down to low. Okay, and we're gonna let this simmer for about 15 minutes. What's gonna happen after that is all of this liquid, all of our chicken stock will have absorbed into the quinoa, and we'll have what looks like just a pot of quinoa. All right, so it's been about 15 minutes. Our quinoa took a little long today. It was closer to about 20 minutes. What happened after the 15 minutes, I shut off the heat, and then I just let the quinoa sit off the heat and soak up the rest of that liquid. So that's what we have here. While this was cooking, I browned and toasted some almonds. So we're gonna add those to our pilaf. Okay. All right. Now a pilaf is all about texture. Okay, so we have some nice cooked quinoa. We have our nice crunch from our almonds, and now we're gonna add a little bit of sweetness with some dried cranberries, okay? And a little bit more, okay. Okay, we're gonna finish this off with some fresh flat leaf parsley. Okay, and we're just gonna mince this up Add that in there. Okay. We're going to toss this together. All right, so that's our quinoa pilaf. The great thing about this recipe is that it can be served either cold or hot, so you can have it as a salad in your lunch the next day. It's really, really nice the next day when all of those flavors have had a chance to meld together. I want you to remember that it's very, very important that you incorporate whole grains into your diet. The Dietary Guidelines of America recommend that you get at least 3 ounces into your diet every day. So you may be asking yourself, Chef Dominic, how am I going to eat 3 ounces of whole grains in one day? Well, you can incorporate it throughout your day in 1 ounce increments. A slice of bread is an ounce, roughly an ounce of whole grain. You could do a half a cup of cooked cereal or cooked grain like this. So we could do our quinoa or your rice or cooked bulgur, anything like that. 1 cup of ready-to-eat cereal, so like Honey Nut Cheerios or Honey Bunches of Oats, things like that. A cup of granola with some milk on it will count as your ounce of whole grains. Okay? To find these recipes and more nutritional whole grain recipes, you can go to utahfnep.org, and all of our recipes will be posted there. Thanks so much for watching.